All right, I'm super excited to walk you through a step-by-step kicking tutorial so that our flutter kick that we use when swimming freestyle or use when we're swimming backstroke is as efficient as possible. So step number one, I'd like to start our sequence on the top step of a pool where we just extend our feet out. Now, the most important part when we are flutter kicking is ensuring that our toes are pointed. And that's not just curled like this. That tends to be a common mistake that new swimmers make. We want to make sure that our toes are completely pointed down. And this is what actually allows the propulsion to be created when we're kicking our feet. All right, so all I want you to do is practice kicking for 20 or 30 seconds really gently with our toes pointed like a ballerina. All right, so step one of kicking, bring our feet straight out. Step two, point our toes. Then we're gonna gently just kick up and down. You'll notice you'll have a slight knee bend. We don't want to exaggerate that knee bend and have it be too much. And we also just don't want boards for legs when we're kicking either. So we're just going to practice that. Now, notice what you hear. Thud, thud, thud. Listening is as important as seeing with how to ensure we're doing proper technique, and we really want to hear that thud as we're kicking. All right, so I want you to run through that 5 to 10 times of 30 seconds to a minute of flutter kicking from a comfortable place on a top step or on a wall, and then we'll move into adding a noodle and actually kicking flutter kick in the water. Now, the easiest way to know if our kicking technique is incorrect, most of the time meaning that our foot is up like this and too flexed and our toe is not pointed, is if we don't go anywhere when we start kicking. All right, even professional swimmers, if our foot is flexed and our toes are not pointed, we won't go anywhere. The kick will look like this. Okay, it doesn't matter how hard I try, I'm starting to sink and not going anywhere. Okay, but watch this. Now, the minute that I change from doing that to pointing my toes, I'm off. Okay, and so that is the most important thing when we're flutter kicking. Outside of that, generally, when we start adding our kicking to our freestyle, most new swimmers will overexert their kick, and it is very tiring. And so typically my feedback to new swimmers is whatever you're doing with your kicking when you're swimming freestyle in the beginning, take 30 to 50% off of the gas pedal when you do that, all right? Easiest way to start practicing that before we actually add that to our freestyle though, is to grab a noodle or a kickboard, hold that out in front. So if we have a kickboard, you can grab the kickboard from the top. And so the end of the kickboard will be here, the beginning of the kickboard will be here, lower down into the water, push off the bottom, and just gently kick. And the goal here is not to kick so hard that we're creating all of that white water, but just to kick gently a number of times to get used to the technique. Now, notice when I'm kicking, my feet are coming up out of the water. Notice how you can hear the thud. Both of these are important when we're flutter kicking to ensure that we're maining. We are using proper technique.